Hi everyone, this is Legacy School Year 7 History, Lesson 24. We will understand what military orders were and why these orders were established. We will learn what the life of a Crusader Knight was like. I would like you first of all to take a look at these pictures, especially the person in the bottom corner. You can see he looks like a monk, right? Like a religious person, or even the three people on the picture above him. Two of them very much look like monks, but all of them have weapons, or I mean most of them have weapons, which makes them very unlike monks, right? You can also see the same white background red cross on the chests of the soldiers charging in the battle in the bigger picture down. I would like to explain to you that these people here were the representatives of military orders, or Crusader Knights as well, they can be called, of the Middle Ages. Now, military orders were established to protect crusaders who were going on journeys or on pilgrimage to the Holy Land. One of these orders were the Knights Templar, or the Templar Knights. Okay, the Knights Templar, the Templars, you can call them the Templars, were wearing white robes with a big red cross on the chest and all around, even on their flag. This was an elite military order of Crusader Knights. They were named after the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The order was established in 1120, later on disbanded, or disbanded means to close down, basically. The Pope ordered them to be closed, basically. These Templars were extremely popular in the Middle Ages. They were protecting Christian pilgrims on their pilgrimages. They were very famous, and they were quite popular, and for their services they usually were given quite a lot of riches. Some of them were leading, or they were given big castles as well. This made them very, very powerful. Of course, they didn't really listen to the king; they listened to their grand master. Right? And amongst the military orders, they became more powerful than the others, and the other military orders started to look at them with envy and jealousy, and this created a huge problem. Especially the other military orders convinced the Pope Clement V, to close down this order, which he did in 1312. Another very powerful military order was the Knights Hospitaller. Okay, you can see them here in this picture, very cool black outfits with a white cross, and the shield also, black shield with a white cross. This was an elite order of Crusader Knights, originally formed to run a hospital. That's why they were called Hospitallers. Okay, for pilgrims, and it was established, as you can see, right after the first crusade, 1099, to help the people who are coming to the Holy Land on their pilgrimage, to form hospitals for them and help them recover from injuries and protect them in these hospitals. Now, another famous military order, this is not in your book, were the Teutonic Knights. This would be the opposite. The colors would be the opposite of the Hospitallers. You can see white background and black cross. The official name is the Order of the German House of St. Mary in Jerusalem. It was also a religious order, founded as a military order approximately in 1192 in Acre, the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Earlier we mentioned Acre is a city inside the Kingdom of Jerusalem, currently on the territory of Israel. It was created to aid Christians on their pilgrimage to the Holy Land and to establish hospitals, of course, because these people were monks. Actually, they were monks. They were men of religion, but at the same time, they could fight as well. Now let's revise. I would like you to remember these questions because your assessment is going to come, and I might ask you, these are important details. So what was the name of the Pope who created the idea of the Crusades? Of course, it was Urban II. And where he did this was, please remember that it was during his speech in the Council of Clermont in 1095. In 1095, he spoke to the people and asked them to protect the Holy Land and take Jerusalem back. And just a year later on, the Crusades start. Now, how did he convince the people to go? Of course, we mentioned this earlier. Please remember, why did the people go? They were promised place in heaven, okay? And the Pope told them, your sins will be forgiven if you go and fight. Well, of course, another reason for the Pope to start the Crusades, he wanted to reunite the Christian world and show leadership. If you remember, we mentioned that the Christian world broke into two very big fractions, the Eastern and the Western Christianity. The Western Christianity had the leader, had the Pope as the leader, but the Eastern Christians or the Eastern Church did not recognize the Pope. So the Pope took this chance to tell the world that he is the leader of all Christians. He wanted to unite Christianity and take the leadership for both the Westerners and the Easterners. All right, so why did knights go on crusades? Why would a knight jeopardize his life? Now, of course, there was the dream, which was money, fame, and glory. It was wonderful, the stories that came back from very, very courageous knights who fought and were rewarded huge castles in the Holy Land. So money, fame, and glory was the dream, but the reality was totally different. It was absolutely expensive for anyone to go on a crusade. The king had to tax his people very hard. The knight needed to collect quite a lot of money to buy his provisions. He had to support himself when he went on a crusade. Now, most knights didn't even return ever. Okay, so that was another unfortunate reality of the Crusades. Most knights on the way had to face starvation, sicknesses, scorching heat, of course. Amongst the sicknesses, the very typical ones were dysentery, malaria, and cholera. Many of them died before they even reached Jerusalem. And of course, constant fights on the way against enemy soldiers, Muslims, Turks. As they were moving towards Jerusalem, they had to go through Anatolia. A lot of them fierce, very powerful, fearful Turkish soldiers attacked them. So it was very dangerous to go on a journey like this. Now, when they got there, of course, and when they settled down, life in the Crusader states was not that bad. Of course, the people who settled in, now we are talking about approximately 100 years passed from the first Crusade. During these 100 years, loads of European Christian nations came to the Holy Land. Greeks, Italians, French, English, Armenians, so all kinds of nations started to live, work, and even marry and have children, settle down completely in the Middle East. And there was one priest, his name was Fulcher of Chartres. Chartres is a place in France, who settled down in the Middle East and wrote this sentence in his diary: "We who were Westerners have now been made Easterners. He who was a Roman or Frank is now a Galilean or an inhabitant of Palestine." So people started mixing, blending with the others. They started forgetting their European roots, and they were not Westerners anymore. they call themselves Easterners or Palestinians or Galileans. They forgot that they are originally Italians or French. So a new nation was born, of course, which was a little bit more tolerant. Obviously, they met Muslims every day. They had interaction with Muslims, and in general, Muslims were very tolerant towards other religions. So they lived a quite comfortable life in the Crusader states, whether they were under Christian leadership or even later on under Muslim leadership. Within the walls of Jerusalem, their rights were protected. Okay, at the end, I would like you to remember the word Saracen. Okay, this is the word that the Christians used to refer to the Muslims or the Arabs. It comes from the old Greek word for the meaning Arabs. Okay, Saracen. Okay, so you will need to know this. I may ask you in your assessment, what does the word Saracen mean? All right, so your homework is please read pages 60 and 61 and answer your questions on 61 into the copybook. Thank you very much. See you soon.